Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts alongside Tommy Krysan. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Today on Sports Shorts, we get you updated on what's going on in the world of sports in the Baton Rouge area. TK, last night, LSU women's basketball, they went on the road. Texas A&M dominated the Lady Aggies 98-54. They won. LSU now 4-2 in the conference, 18-2 overall, ranked sixth in the country. The crazy thing, Tommy, about women's basketball is that the top three teams in the SEC going into the season were, South Carolina, Texas, and LSU. Both of them are in third, fourth, and fifth place. Surprisingly, Tennessee is 6-0, Vanderbilt is 6-0. So all of a sudden, there's some major depth in the SEC, and teams to watch. It's not just the big three that we thought it would be. It's actually the big five, and so it'll be fun stuff. LSU's women, they started off 0-2 in league play, have completely turned it around and looked like the team they were the first 2 months of the season. So I don't know what that 2 game bump was all about, but they have figured it out. They were a 32-point favorite, and then they covered as well. So something to watch there. LSU's men's basketball not as promising, Tommy, as they will play this weekend. They're at Arkansas, always a tough place to play. They'll be taking on John Calipari's team. Unless a miracle happens, Tommy, this LSU men's basketball team's, going to be lucky to win 5 games.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see the postseason in their future. So a lot of work to do with the men's team, and a good job by the women last night. I saw pieces of that game. That was one of them games they were in control of the whole way.
Speaking of hoops, the Pelicans dropped another one. Tommy, now 23-23 in your 46 games. Unfortunately, you had the bad end of the line because LSU. I mean, the Pelicans were went tipped off at a 7.5 point dog. They lost by 8, but you bought it at 8.5. So Tommy didn't get the win on that one. Remember his bet. He's going against the Pels every single game this year on the line, and so far doing that, he's 23-3. They're at Memphis tonight. They're a 5.5 point underdog tonight. A little update, TK, on the 5-star recruit Jordan Seaton. LSU rolled out all the red carpet, brought him to the governor's mansion, loved on him for 4 days this past weekend, and it doesn't seem to have worked yet. All indication is that it's between LSU and Oregon. Reports are that the player wants to come to LSU, but the uncle, who's a big influence in his life, and his handler wants him to go to Oregon. I think every day that goes by, it's less likely he ends up a Tiger. He did take visits to Mississippi State and in Miami, but the reports are, how about this, TK? Supposedly he started out around 2.5 million, and now, if the reports are to be believed, it's up to $4 million, the NIL deal for him to play offensive line.
Wow. I mean, that's just mind-boggling in a way, but that's where we're at in college football now for the haves and the have-nots. And, on paper, this guy's tremendous upside, potential NFL guy, the whole bit. We'll see if LSU can close the deal. I mean, the statistics and the numbers are there. The upside. He's considered a top lineman in the portal, so we'll see.
Lane Kiffin, though, not sitting around just waiting on Seaton's answer. He was in New Orleans yesterday, went and saw all the big boy schools. Reports out of New Orleans is that Lane Kiffin, was popping all around. Where'd he go?
Brother Martin, St. Aug, and Edna Carr. Now, Brother Martin and St. Aug schools are not that far apart, but he had to go over the river to the West Bank to get to Edna Carr. But the amount of talent that's at Edna Carr, Brother Martin, and St. Aug is immense. And don't know if he hit any other places, maybe not, but he kind of made it a New Orleans day. And he went to 3 of the premier places. And, there's plenty of players elsewhere. We'll see how Lane does in the Crescent City.
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, Leonard Fournette, all St. Aug players. And, of course, well documented that this year Edna Carr had, I want to say, for the state championship game where they beat St. Aug, I want to say it was like 15 Division I signees. And that was guys that had signed prior to the state championship game. They signed in early December. So Crazy how talented that program is. Speaking of talented, LSU baseball will have its press conference today at 11 to kick off their season. Jay Johnson will address the media for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then they'll make select players available for local interviews. So you'll be seeing a lot of that over the next week. You'll be seeing a lot of snippets of parts of those interviews with the players and Jay, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow on Sports Shorts Radio, which is 10 to noon. We'll be over at BRQ, new sponsor of our show, BRQ. Looking forward to that grub. And we'll be over there tomorrow. We'll talk plenty more about Jay Johnson's press conference and some of the things that he says. He'll probably give you a little sneak peek on some of the players. Oftentimes you get a little bit of lineup information, on who's doing what. So we'll see. Jay doesn't really tip his hand too much, but he'll give us something. Tommy, this weekend, the Patriots are a 4.5 point favorite over the Denver Broncos, and Seattle's a 2.5 point favorite over the Rams. How do you see those things playing out?
Man, I tell you, Denver with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, that just you can't not look at that. You can't not think about that. The Patriots only won 4 games last year, and here they are in the conference championship game. Mike Vrabel's, fixed the mindset of that whole team. Yeah, I think you got to go Patriots just because Stidham hasn't taken a snap in the game since 2023. Now, they've had all week to coach him up, prep him up, make a plan that makes the most out of him. We'll see. Man, Seahawks, Rams, that's another one. And Seahawks defense is so good. But Stafford and the Rams have a lot of offensive weapons. I think we're up for 2, obviously the point spread on both games is less than a score. So I think we're up for 2 really good football games. It could go down to the wire, could have an overtime, field goal late that either hits the upright or goes through. I think both games, that's what it looks like. Now, we can end up with a blowout, we know that. But, man, I think it'll be 2 fun games on Sunday. Weather's going to be poor in South Louisiana Sunday. I think a lot of people are going to kick back and watch some conference championship games.
I like Seattle, and I like the under on the Denver Patriots game. I think Seattle wins against the Rams, yeah, I do think the Patriots win, but I'm worried about the cover with the 4.5. Oftentimes, man, when you have a guy who's been that quarterback that's been sitting the bench. They don't have a lot of tape on them. You can be energized and surprise defenses for one game, and we've seen that happen against the Saints many, many times. So I'd be surprised if Stidham doesn't play decent. So I'm going to take the under 42.5 points on the road with Stidham. They're going to be conservative, I think. So I like the under on that game. I think the Patriots will win, but I really like Seattle minus 2.5. Tommy,
and do check the weather Sunday morning in Denver. Find out what it's going to be when they play at 2:00. Seattle a little less of a weather effect because of the kind of halfway cut. It's not a dome, but it's kind of covered in the bleacher area. So 2 fun games. 2 teams will punch their ticket to Super Bowl.
All right, a little short, brief sports shorts today. We'll be on the radio tomorrow, 10 to noon on ESPN Radio, Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. You can check us out from 10 to noon anywhere in the country download the 104.5 ESPN app and check out the show. TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Yeah, Tremonti's can load you up for the weekend with soups and gumbo. Get ready for that cold weather. Come get some soup and some gumbo. It's all in the refrigerated cases here. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. They can do catering. You can order online at tremontis.com. Load up with some soups and gumbos and sausage for the cold weather that's coming. Radio tomorrow morning, as Ronnie said, from BRQ Seafood and Barbecue, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Charlie and the staff, we're looking forward to getting over there and telling you about BRQ, the official caterer for LSU athletics. BRQ Seafood and Barbecue in Baton Rouge, Jefferson Highway. We'll be there tomorrow morning on the radio, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. Do check us out. Have a great Friday, everyone.